What is that?
Azazel is one of those characters who doesn't get talked about nearly enough, even though his powers are honestly some of the most visually cool and strategically valuable in the Marvel Universe. He's best known as Nightcrawler's father and a teleporting mutant who leans heavily into that dark, demonic vibe. But while his red skin and sinister looks get plenty of attention, it's his ability to teleport over long distances, and even between dimensions, that really makes him a potential game-changer in something as chaotic as Secret Wars or Avengers Doomsday. In the comics, Azazel isn't just a Nightcrawler knockoff with an evil twist. He's got a deep connection to ancient mutant history, leading a group called the Neyaphem, who are basically mutant demons. This makes him not just powerful, but also rooted in some seriously old, cosmic-level conflicts. Because of that, it's easy to see how Marvel Studios could slide him into a multiversal war scenario, especially one where teleportation isn't just useful, it's essential. Think about it. When portals are collapsing, universes are colliding, and timelines are falling apart, having someone who can jump entire teams through space and dimensions is like holding the multiverse's golden key. Azazel's teleportation isn't exactly like Nightcrawler's. While Nightcrawler is limited to line of sight or shorter distances and gets sick if he tries to carry too much weight, Azazel doesn't really have that problem. In fact, he's shown in the comics that he can teleport across continents and even interdimensionally with ease. That alone puts him on a whole other level from most teleporters. So if Kang the Conqueror, or some version of Doom, is causing multiversal chaos in Avengers Secret Wars, Azazel could be the one quietly keeping Earth's heroes from being completely wiped out. But it's not just about moving people from point A to point B. Azazel's teleportation could allow the Avengers to pull off some serious infiltration missions. Imagine a team needing to sneak into a variant version of Latveria, where a God Emperor Doom is reigning over Battleworld. There are no portals open, the usual tech is blocked by magical interference, and everyone's powers are being suppressed. Who's going to get a stealth team in and out without alerting Doom? Azazel. His teleportation works through smoke and shadows, and it's got that demonic quality that lets him slip through magical defenses. That's a huge tactical edge in a war where everything is being manipulated, even reality itself. Also, there's something to be said about the look of his powers. Visually, Azazel's teleportation is a burst of hellish red smoke, and it's so distinct compared to Doctor Strange's golden portals or America Chavez's star-shaped ones. Having that kind of variety makes action sequences pop, especially when you've got multiple characters teleporting or warping around in the same fight. It helps the audience keep track of who's doing what, and it reinforces Azazel's darker edge. He doesn't just disappear, he vanishes like a demon, which adds this mystical weight to every move he makes. Another thing that makes Azazel perfect for this kind of story is how morally gray he is. In the comics, he's not some mustache-twirling villain, but he's definitely not a hero either. That makes him the type of wild card character that fits perfectly into a crossover event. He could start out working with someone shady, maybe even Kang or a multiversal cabal, and then switch sides when it suits his own agenda. It's the kind of move that adds layers to the story. Maybe he only helps the Avengers because he wants to protect his own corner of the multiverse. Or maybe he's trying to ensure that mutant kind survives whatever comes next. It opens the door for some interesting alliances and betrayals. Although Azazel hasn't been a central figure in the comics for a while, Marvel has been digging deeper into its mutant roster with the X-Men joining the MCU. So even if he's not front and center, Azazel could be brought in as part of a mutant strike team, maybe working with someone like Magneto or Mystique. After all, if the multiverse is collapsing, even the Brotherhood of Mutants would have a vested interest in making sure there's still a world left to rule. His history with Mystique also adds drama, especially if Nightcrawler's in the picture too. A family of teleporters caught in a multiversal civil war? That writes itself. Now let's jump to Avengers Doomsday. This movie is rumored to follow Secret Wars and deal with the fallout of the multiversal implosion. That means fewer universes, more survivors from different timelines living together, and probably some pretty wild power struggles. In that scenario, Azazel could become even more critical. He might be one of the few people left who can move across whatever's left of the multiverse, or who can access secret pockets of reality that others can't. Maybe he knows of a hidden realm where the Avengers can regroup, or he's guarding a dimension that holds the key to rebuilding what was lost. So while he's not an A-lister like Strange or Wanda, Azazel's teleportation gives him a unique role in these massive multiverse stories. He's the kind of character who thrives in the background, reshaping the battlefield while others are throwing punches. And because his powers are so flexible and visually distinct, he's perfect for the kind of unpredictable, high-stakes storytelling Secret Wars and Doomsday are aiming for. Whether he's saving lives, slipping through dimensions, or stirring up trouble, Azazel might end up being the multiverse's most dangerous chauffeur. But Marvel Studios officially confirming that Nightcrawler is going to show up in Avengers Doomsday because with all these characters converging, Marvel might finally explore one of the most overlooked, emotional, and intriguing X-Men stories, the complicated family history between Mystique and Nightcrawler. And given that 20th Century Fox never really committed to that arc, this feels like the perfect time for the MCU to dig in. Mystique and Nightcrawler showing up together again for the first time in over 2 decades is enough to get longtime fans excited. Although Fox's version hinted at a connection, especially with Azazel's presence in X-Men First Class, they never confirmed anything. In the comics, though, the connection is canon and a big deal. Nightcrawler is actually the child of Mystique and Destiny, with Mystique having shapeshifted into a male form to conceive him. That's a major twist, and it's something Marvel Studios could handle with more depth and care than Fox ever did. And let's not forget, Avengers Doomsday isn't just tossing in a few cameos for nostalgia, it's bringing back a bunch of classic X-Men actors in a major way. We're talking about heavy hitters like Patrick Stewart's Professor X, Ian McKellen's Magneto, and even James Marsden as Cyclops. It's shaping up to be a massive event, full of intersecting storylines, and it makes sense that Marvel would use it to begin tying together loose threads from the multiverse. That includes long-neglected relationships like Mystique's and Nightcrawler's. Now, the fact that Azazel might show up is especially interesting, because in the comics, he's often portrayed as Nightcrawler's biological father, a demon-like mutant with teleportation powers and a very dark past. Fox vaguely alluded to this in First Class, but left the rest of that story in the shadows. So with Mystique and Nightcrawler all confirmed, Avengers Doomsday might actually be setting up a very uncomfortable family reunion. It wouldn't be surprising if Marvel decides to play with both comic lore and multiversal possibilities, maybe offering conflicting origins across timelines, something the MCU has done before with the father-son movement for Nightcrawler and Azazel. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.